Hi everybody, we're gonna start a demo right here. Okay, we're gonna make 2 small coil pots. So to start the coil pot, I just start with a piece of clay that's made into a slab. Okay? It doesn't even have to be perfect, really. Maybe I'll try to flatten this a little bit. But then I use a piece of paper towel, and I put my slab on the paper towel. And then I'm going to start by cutting the base for my coil pot. And if you want to get exact, you could use something round, or it doesn't even have to be round. I don't really care. We're just doing a small coil pot in preparation for a bigger coil pot later. Okay. Wow. Okay, so there's my base. Then I kind of have coil building is my absolute favorite way to make anything. All of my sculptures are coil built. And one rule that I have with coil building is always score and slip the first coil on. After you've done one coil and you get it started, you don't have to score and slip anymore. So the first one I'm going to score. So this is the base, so I'm going to put one coil on top of here to get it started. And then I'll take some slip. I'll add a little slip around it. Getting the coil pot started is the longest part. It's like the most tedious, but once you get going, it should go pretty quick. Okay, so I've scored and slipped that base piece. Now I need to make a coil. Let me just move that up here. I'm gonna grab clay. I just grab, I don't wedge my clay or anything. Ooh, is that fun? We don't have to wedge. Now I'm just gonna make a coil. I roll it. That's gonna be way too big of a coil, so I'll just rip it apart. And I'm just gonna roll it out like this. Okay, then since it's my first coil, I'm gonna score this one as well. And this is really soft clay, so I'm not gonna worry about putting slip on this part because I already have slip on the base. And I'm gonna stick the first layer right there. Okay, this is my very first step. So I have one layer of coil done right there. And this is the part that I really want you to watch. I pay really close attention to this first step because of past experience. I've had things come out of the kiln and they fall apart, like the bottom falls off if I don't do this. So I'll take my coil and I'll smear it down like this all the way around. And then, just to be extra sure, I'm going to grab some of the clay from the base and smear that up into the first coil. Basically, you're turning the base and the sides into one piece. Okay, and then I'm going to go around, I'm going to smear the outside. I'm going to smear the bottom. I don't know if you can really see that. I'm going to smear the bottom up into that first coil. Okay, I go all the way around and do that. And why do you think I'm using a paper towel? So it doesn't stick. You guys know that? Okay. Now, this is where it starts to get really fast. I'm going to make another coil. And I'm going to put it on top of my first coil. So here's where I do coil building a little differently than a lot of people teach it. Some people will teach it to put your coil directly on top, to wind it around, and then you just keep going. And you keep doing this kind of thing, just right on top of each other like that. Well, I do something a little bit different. Instead of putting mine directly on top, I'll kind of overlap my coils and I'll pinch them together. I pinch them. It's hard to see from that angle, isn't it? But and I keep going. I pinch them together all the way around. And I'll do like 2 or 3 layers, 2 or 3 coils high, like this, before I go back and smear it together. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to smear the outside like that. And I'm going to smear the inside like this. Okay? And the whole goal at the end of this is you're going to have a coil pot that's smeared together on the inside and the outside. So both sides will be smooth. So I'm going to just take a minute and I'm going to do one more coil. I told you we're doing 2 projects. We're doing 2 small coil pots. So this is the first one. And I think on the next video I'll show you the second one. But just as a looking ahead a little bit, we're going to do one where we smear the inside and the outside. And we're going to do a second one where we only smear the inside. And you're going to use the coils as a decoration on the second one. But I'll give you some examples of that later. So this one, it really should only take you, we're going to do 6 inches tall. That's pretty small. You should be able to finish 1 coil pot in a day. It might take you into the next class period. I'm going to keep working on this, and I'm going to work on the shape. I'm going to make it, I don't want it to just be a plain cylinder. I'm going to give it some shapes that goes out and then in. But I'll do that. I'll keep recording, but you guys can work on yours. And then I'll show you how to wrap it up at the end of the class, because there's a special way we need to wrap our coil pots so they don't dry out. Okay? Does that sound good? I'm not ready to show you that yet till I have mine a little taller. Okay, I smeared the inside. Oh, one thing I didn't show you. A tool that works really good is the wooden rib. The wooden rib works really great for smearing the outside of your pot. And sometimes this paper towel, if it gets to be too big and floppy, it gets in the way. So I'll tear it off. So now the paper towel's out of the way, but it's still on the bottom so my clay doesn't stick. I'll use my rib tool like this to smear my coils together. It helps to smooth it and shape it. So you can kind of see how that's making it nice and smooth. Okay. And then I'm going to use this on the inside too. I like the rounded edge of this to smooth the inside. Okay, I'm ready for my next coil. Okay, so one thing I want to show you is to control the shape. Like really what we're going to try and learn with this is how to control shape. We're going to do a project in the future where we're going to copy an ancient pot. So you're going to have to control the shape. So start learning how to do that now. Like right now I've made mine bulge out a little bit, and I'm going to try and make it come in really small. So here's how you do it. I'm taking my coil, and remember how I showed you that you overlap the coils and pinch them? I'm overlapping my coil and pinching it on. And since I want this to go smaller, the direction that I pinch it is going to determine what shape I have. And then also the direction that I smear it will help control the shape. Okay, so I'm going to do one more coil before I blend it. But you can see it's starting to get smaller on the top. Okay, I'm going to roll one more out, add it on, and then I want to show you how to wrap it up for the day. Okay, here's my coil. I'm going to keep making it smaller. Okay, so now I'm on my third layer. Right, Isabella? Third layer. Okay, I'm going to just rip the coil off right there. And I'm going to smear these together. First I'm going to sort of pinch the coils so they're going the right direction. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to blend them together. I start with the inside. You won't be able to see what I'm doing on the inside. I'm smearing the inside walls. And then okay, I've gone all the way around there. Now I'm going to go on the outside. I'm going to take my rib tool. And watch this. I hold one hand on the inside because I don't want to collapse the walls, but I kind of want to hold the shape securely. And I'm going to smear the coils together, and I'm smearing them up and over. If I wanted this to go out, I would smear the coils out this way. But I'm going inward right now. Oh my gosh, that's the cleanup bell. Okay, real fast, I need to show you how to wrap these up so they don't dry out. Okay, there, I've smeared them all together. Okay, so if I get to the end of the day and I'm not finished with my project and I want to come back and work on it next time, I need to make sure that the top of this stays wet. It's okay if the bottom stiffens up. In fact, with coil pots, it's a good idea to let the bottom stiffen up as you go. That way, as you add more clay onto it, it can support the weight of the clay. So here's what I do. I take a paper towel like this. I like to fold it in half. And then I'm going to spray it with some water. I'm going to spray my paper towel. It helps to get a bottle that sprays good. Okay, I'm going to spray both sides of this. Okay, now watch. This is important. This is very, very important. Like, students come back all the time and say, Mr. Moffett, my pot dried out. I'm like, well, you didn't watch this. So I'm going to wrap the top inch or two of my coil pot with the wet paper towel. Now, knowing what you guys know about clay already, what's going to happen if I wrap the entire pot with a wet paper towel? It'll smush down because it gets soggy and it can't support the weight of the clay. It'll just collapse. Okay, so I wrap the top inch like that. And then I take a plastic bag and I'm going to store this on a plastic bat. Plastic so that it doesn't absorb moisture out of my pot as much. If it were a larger pot, I could put it on a wooden bat because I do want it to stiffen up. I'm going to take my plastic bag and I'm going to wrap it just like that. I'm going to tuck the bag underneath the bat, put it on my storage shelf, and it should be good to go next class.